It is time for that £5 retro game challenge. That's right, gamers, I'm bringing the playlist back. This is the first video of this playlist in around 9 months, and if you don't know what it is, I will let you know right now. But before we take a look, it wouldn't be a CEX trip without having a look at additional retro games. I bought some stuff. There were some really nice games. This is actually the Loughborough CEX, so shout out to the staff in there. They were very, very nice to me. Now, the £5 game challenge. The aim of the game is to buy as many good Xbox 360 titles as possible, and when I say good, I mean no sports titles allowed, because they're about 10 pence each. So as you can imagine, you can buy a myriad of games, and I just don't want that repetition in the collection. Typically, I try to buy games that I don't own, that are of decent quality, and at the end of the video, you will see exactly what I picked up. So stay tuned, grab yourselves some drinks, and let me know also, is there anything in here that you think you would have purchased? Not just on the Xbox 360 front, but we've got some nice Super Nintendo, some Nintendo 64. That right there, Beetle Adventure Racing, is, in my opinion, one of the hidden gem racing games of that platform. Go and check it out. There's plenty of playthroughs on YouTube if you haven't been familiar with that. We got some Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, Mario Brothers 2, and then this is a Mega Man game that I don't own. I wasn't willing to pay £65 for it. I do have Mega Man 2, and I do believe I have Balloon Fight, and I do believe I have Castlevania. But hey, we are going upstairs, and here is the wall/selection of Xbox 360 titles. I do my very best to take a good look through the bulk of these games, but again, I typically miss a lot, and I love re-editing these because it just gives me a chance to see what I've missed. Now here I am just kind of taking a look. I just have no rhyme or reason when I'm out and about retro game hunting. Have you got any tips? Is there anything in particular that you do when you're out looking for video games? Do you have lists on your phone? I know a lot of you have reached out to me, and you've told me about the apps that you use to keep a log of your retro games, but if you have any tips, smash them in the comment section below. I've really been enjoying the Xbox 360 of late. That's why there's been quite a lot of content in regards to the console on my channel. If you go and check the cards, you can see a two-part mini-series of my entire Xbox 360 collection, part 1 being the special editions, or rather collector's editions, and then part 2 just the kind of box standard games, typical to what you're seeing right here. Now, what I've noticed as well, and you saw me there just have a little close-up on that case, I was checking to make sure it wasn't a reproduced or reprinted cover, because CEX, they've had a lot of unboxed games and they've reprinted their own covers whilst maintaining the recommended retail CEX price of a game. I have noticed since myself and a hell of a lot of other YouTubers made a lot of noise about it, bringing it to light and kind of calling them out, I've seen less and less of it. Maybe that's done on purpose, maybe it's not, I'm not entirely sure, but what I do know is that there are the odd cases floating around, so you have to make sure, if you have a good look at the cases, you can sometimes see around the edges of the Xbox 360 cases that the printing isn't aligned. You can see where it's been cut wonky, and then you can actually see the quality of the ink up close. It really isn't as good as what you would get from an original printed cover. So yeah, let me know, have you seen or come across any reprinted covers in your CEX of late? Smash a comment. Now, as you guys can see here, there are some Kinect games wedged in. I don't own a Kinect. Believe it or not, in my mammoth lady lounge of a game room, I don't actually own a Kinect. One, I wouldn't have the space to play it and run around and jump around at the different games. I love dropping games as well. And number two, I just don't feel like it was a product that piqued my attention. even back on release. Now I do remember they were like 200 plus quid back in the day, and like Xbox was so enthusiastic about it, and a lot of the gaming community were really enthusiastic about Kinect, but it fell pretty quickly, and you soon saw the devices on clearance, which kind of blew me away at the time, because I remember a friend of mine spent about 300 quid on a bundle when they just came out, and about a year later that same bundle was like over 75% reduction. So I think with things like that you have to be really careful, and I think a lot of people pegged PSVR to go the same way, but what with the release of, or rather the new update coming up for the likes of No Man's Sky that is getting a VR release, PSVR is actually still very prominent and very strong, and it's clearly still being worked on by lots of different game developers as we speak. So that is super cool. PSVR is not for me, Kinect is not for me, but nonetheless we have thousands of other games to choose from, just like you guys can see here. So like we saw downstairs, I'm going to show you guys a different console now. We got some OG Xbox, a dwindling collection, if I do say so myself, and I'm noticing it more and more. There's less and less OG Xbox games around. I don't know why. The console is remarkable. It is absolutely phenomenal, and things are really, really cheap. Just off to the left, swinging round, a much bigger, healthier collection of PlayStation 2 games back there, and I think at this point I picked about two, maybe 3 games out of my kind of £5 challenge, and I went back, had another look. Sometimes I do kind of pull games off the shelves and then I put them back, I change my mind, I'm not quite sure, and I know a lot of you guys just love this playlist. So if you're a huge fan of this playlist, thank you so much, because the constant people kind of asking, bring it back, or are you going to do another £5 challenge? Thank you, because here it is. I'm super grateful, and I will be doing more of these because they're super fun to do, and it just goes to show you don't need to spend a fortune to get some good games in your collection. The Walking Dead. I've heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, that there's going to be a compilation of the games released. I could be wrong, let me know. And I'll tell you something else, gamers. I'll tell you something else. I have never played a Walking Dead game. And again, you guys keep saying, Gemma, you need to play it. Gemma, you need to play it. You will love it. And I'm still holding off. But if the rumours are true and the compilation is going to be released, I think that might be my time to dive into it and buy all the games in one go. I now know obviously the dev studio has closed down, Telltale Games, which is a damn shame. I've seen gameplay and I think that it looks just remarkable. The cell shading looks stunning, and I used to be a huge fan of The Walking Dead show, but I lost track of it mid, I think season 8. I just kind of fell out of love with it. But let me know. I don't know if the rumours are true. If they are, awesome. If they're not, hey, it is what it is. So as it stands in 2019, if you had to pick between the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 to take to a desert island, which console would you take and why? Let's say you had a choice of 5 games. If you want to beef out your answer, which 5 games would you take? I think that's an intriguing question, because when you go into the likes of CEX, PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 games are plentiful, they're cheap, they are easy to kind of find, so I think that it's still at the forefront of a lot of people's minds. Definitely ain't retro yet, but I want to know what you would pick in the comment section below before we take a look at the games that I picked up for £5. Like I said, I did buy additional stuff, I'm throwing a few curveballs because I have picked up some games and I've put them back down again just because people can kind of guess and figure it out before the end of the video. But I did pick out additional stuff. I got some retro games from downstairs. I picked up one of the N64 titles, I picked up an NES title, and I picked up a Super Nintendo title. So it was a good day, and I again thank the staff in CEX in Loughborough. But guys, what did I buy? What did I buy? Here we go. We got Quake, well, Enemy Territory, Quake Wars for 50p, Dark Void for 50p, totaling £1. This brings us up to £3 with some Turok, surprisingly I don't own it, £4 bringing us in with Ninja Blade, and finally help from my puppy Molly with some Fuse at £1. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Please leave a like and hit subscribe, and if you're kind enough and you want to support me, hit that join button to join these lovely people here. Cheers.